Welcome to this session on active voice and passive voice. A transitive verb has two voices. They are active voice and passive voice. Remember that a verb that takes an object is called a transitive verb. In a very simple way, we can say that active voice is that voice in which the subject is active and passive voice is that in which subject is passive. Let us compare the sentences. In the first sentence, the dog chased the cat. The dog is the subject and it is doer of the action. So the sentence is in active voice. In the second sentence, the cat was chased by the dog. The cat is the subject and it is the receiver of the action. So the sentence is in passive voice. Keep the following rules in mind as they'll help you in changing active to passive voice. When a sentence is changed from active voice to passive voice, the object in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive voice. For example, he feeds the dogs. Passive form of this sentence is, the dogs are fed by him. If the agent is prominent in the passive voice, then we use the by phrase. For example, she has taken a decision. Passive form of this sentence would be, a decision has been taken by her. Passive form takes an appropriate tense of the verb be followed by the past participle of the verb. The tense remains the same as in active voice. For example, he is reading a book. Passive form of this sentence is, a book is being read by him. In imperative sentence, let is used for commands and requests. For example, shut the window. It can be expressed in passive form as, let the window be shut. When a question is changed into passive, it remains a question. Question word always comes in the beginning. For example, who stole my pencil? The passive form of this question is, by whom was my pencil stolen? Remember, although active voice is more direct and forceful, there are cases where we need to use passive voice. Passive voice is used when we want to imply importance on the recipient of the action. For example, the leader was greeted by the crowd. In this sentence, the emphasis is on the leader. Passive voice is used when the doer of the action is not known. For example, his pocket has been picked. In this sentence, the doer of the action is not known. Passive voice is used when the doer of the action is not mentioned. For example, he was caught stealing. In this sentence, the doer of the action is not mentioned. Now, let us observe the changes of tense when transformed from active to passive voice. First, let us observe simple present tense. For example, she teaches music is in active voice. When this is changed into passive voice, it becomes, music is taught by her. Next, simple past tense. For example, he wrote an article is in active voice. When this is changed into passive voice, it becomes an article was written by him. Now, simple future tense. For example, Simran will reject this gift is in active voice. When this is changed into passive voice, it becomes this gift will be rejected by Simran. Let us look at present continuous tense. For example, Charan is writing a poem is in active voice. When this is changed into passive voice, it becomes a poem is being written by Charan. Next, past continuous tense. For example, a madman was chasing Roshan is in active voice. When this is changed into passive voice, it becomes Roshan was being chased by a madman. Now, simple perfect tense. For example, he has eaten a chocolate is in active voice. When this is changed into passive voice, it becomes a chocolate has been eaten by him. Past perfect tense. For example, he had eaten a chocolate is in active voice. When this is changed into passive voice, it becomes a chocolate had been eaten by him. Finally, future perfect tense. For example, he will have eaten a chocolate is in active voice. When this is changed into passive voice, it becomes a chocolate will have been eaten by him. Let us now do an activity. Let us recap. In this module, we learned about the active and passive voice, the rules for changing a sentence from active voice to passive voice, and the usage of passive voice.